If you've looked up at the night sky lately, you might have noticed Saturn doing something, well, something that seems impossible. For the last 4 months, the ringed giant has looked like it's moving backward. And today, November 28th, 2025, that bizarre celestial dance finally comes to an end. So check this out. This is what Saturn's path has actually looked like against the backdrop of stars. Since July, it hasn't been moving in a nice, straight line. Instead, it's been tracing this strange little loop, looking like it's drifting westward, backward. Today, that weird journey is over, and Saturn is going to start moving forward again. I mean, that's the big question, right? It just seems to defy all the laws of physics. Do planets just change their minds and reverse course? Well, the answer is a really fascinating illusion, and we're going to break it all down. To understand this whole cosmic mystery, you don't need a supercomputer or some complex physics degree. Nope. The answer is surprisingly simple, and it all starts with something you've definitely experienced before, just driving on the highway. Just think about it for a second. You're in the fast lane, cruising along, and as you start to overtake a slower car, for that brief moment, if you look at it relative to the mountains or trees way off in the distance, that other car seems to drift backward. Of course, it's not actually reversing, it's just an optical trick, all caused by your speed and your changing point of view. That exact same thing is playing out right now, just on a massive cosmic scale. So let's think of Earth and Saturn as two cars, and their orbits around the sun are the lanes on a giant cosmic racetrack. Okay, so here's the setup. Earth is in the inner, faster lane. We zip around the sun in just 1 year. Saturn, on the other hand, is way out in the slow lane. It takes a super leisurely 29.5 years to complete just a single lap. So with us on the speedy inside track, what's going to happen eventually? Exactly. We lap it. As Earth catches up to Saturn and then speeds right past it in our orbit, our line of sight from here on the ground changes, and that change is what makes Saturn look like it slows down, moves backward for a few months, and then starts moving forward again once we're far enough ahead. This whole thing is just a beautiful little quirk of geometry and timing, all based on our specific viewpoint here on Earth. And of course, astronomers have a special name for it, one they've been using to track this for centuries. The official term is retrograde motion. Now, the most important word in that whole definition is apparent. Saturn isn't really moving backward, it's just chugging along on its steady orbit, same as always. This whole backward dance is an illusion, happening entirely from our changing point of view. And for this specific event, the illusion started all the way back on July 13th. For more than 4 months, anyone watching the sky could see Saturn drifting westward. Today, November 28th, that's what we call the stationary point, where it looks like it just stops for a moment before getting back on its normal eastward path across our sky. And hey, this is not some modern curiosity. Ancient Babylonian astronomers were meticulously tracking this celestial dance. For centuries, brilliant minds tried to explain it. The Greek astronomer Ptolemy even came up with this incredibly complicated system of epicycles, these little mini-orbits, just to make the math work. It wasn't until Copernicus and Kepler came along that we finally figured out, oh, it's just an illusion caused by all the planets orbiting the sun. But, long before science had the answer, people assigned their own meaning to this strange behavior in the sky. And that brings us to two very, very different ways of seeing the exact same event. Okay, so from the scientific view, it's a beautiful, predictable illusion of orbital mechanics. Saturn's actual path doesn't change one bit. But in astrology, this same event is seen as deeply symbolic. In that world, Saturn is associated with things like structure and responsibility. So its apparent backward motion is interpreted as a time to review and reflect. And when it finally moves forward again, like it is today, that's seen as a major shift in energy, a time for progress, a time to put all those lessons into action. So in the end, both of these views really hinge on the exact same idea: perspective. Science explains it as an illusion created by our physical vantage point in space. Astrology interprets it as a shift in our personal or metaphysical perspective. But either way you slice it, what we see and what it means depends entirely on where we're standing. And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Saturn's backward dance is such a powerful reminder that what we see is completely shaped by our point of view. It leaves you with one last question to chew on. What other cosmic illusions are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to look at them from a new perspective?